Jordan Love is eligible for a new contract this offseason, and the Green Bay Packers better get that man signed before he steps on the field in Week 1.
Jordan Love, wow. That's about all I can say, Pete, is wow.
How's it going today? My name is Jesse McNamer, and welcome to Point of View. Before we get into it today, I just want to say we always appreciate your feedback and look forward to reading your comments like the one we've got here. Also, be sure to stay tuned to the end of this episode to see if you can guess today's trivia question down below. To today's topic, is Jordan Love worth the mega contract we assume he's going to get? The 25-year-old quarterback is entering his 5th year in the NFL, but just his 2nd as a starter, yet he became eligible to sign a new deal on May 3rd. Now, the Packers need to decide quickly if he is worth taking up a significant amount of cap space for the foreseeable future. In my opinion, there's no question he deserves it, but let's dive into why. Love has some advantages that no other QB could match with the Packers. He sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years, and he clearly took a lot of information in because in 2023, Love was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He didn't start slow by any means, but you could feel the issues with the flow of the offense early on. The Packers still manufactured wins like the comeback against the New Orleans Saints in Week 3, but were 3-6 to start the season. Then, after a loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 9, Love put it all together to close out the final 8 games of the season. He was among the league leaders in nearly every category while tossing for 2,150 yards and 18 touchdowns to 1 interception. His completion rate was over 70%, and even though the Packers defense couldn't help pull out some wins, the offense was keeping them in it every week. And if that stretch wasn't enough, Love led the 7th-seeded Packers into Dallas for the wildcard game and beat the brakes off the 2-seeded Cowboys team that had won 16 straight home games. Love completed 16 of his 21 attempts for 272 yards and 3 touchdowns with no turnovers and a near-perfect quarterback rating. Here's what head coach Matt LaFleur had to say about Love's performance in his first playoff game.
What he did and the poise he shows, the command he shows, the touchdown pass to Dontavian Wicks, it was an all-out look. We were obviously in an empty set. He had, I think it was Tucker, max protect, and that was a great job by Tuck and the rest of our offensive line. And for him to hang in there and get that throw, and Wicks made a hell of a catch. But those are things that you just can't necessarily. You can try to coach it, but what a moment for him. To me, that was a big-time play. It just shows the growth that he's had from his first start versus KC to now. Just so proud and happy for him. He's a dude. He is a real dude.
Wow was right, Matt, and Love nearly took the youngest team to make the playoffs in decades to the NFC Championship game, but lost to the eventual conference representative 49ers. In any case, I'm not sure how much more you need to see from a player in his first year starting to feel comfortable giving him a ton of money. But him deserving a contract doesn't just end with his play on the field. Aaron Rodgers still had a lot to do with this. Rodgers and Love are represented by the same agency called Athletes First. While they don't have the same primary agents representing each QB, they're certainly familiar with the history of contracts for Rodgers. He was given a 5-year extension after he had played just 7 games in his first year as a starter. Love was already behind that benchmark. And if we're talking numbers, Love was better in his first year starting than Rodgers was in his last season with the Packers. Love won 1 more game with what appeared to be less talent around him and had similar or better stats across the board. If Rodgers was worth $50 million a year, Love and his agents may think the same, and I don't blame them. And general manager Brian Gutekunst didn't do himself any favors at the negotiating table when he had said this about Jordan Love at the end of season press conference.
Jordan had a really good season toward the end, especially the second half, and I think we're really excited to build around him.
Seems pretty obvious the Packers want to get a deal done. It's just a matter of agreeing on the terms. And I'd be completely stunned if they didn't finalize a new contract by Week 1 because the team doesn't need that kind of dark cloud hanging over their heads this season. Because is there a better option out there? I'm not sure who you trade for that's got the combination of talent and age that Love has, and the Packers don't have a lot of ways to move up in the next draft to take a QB. And even if you did, you'd just be hoping the new QB looks as good as Love, so why not make him the face of Titletown? For me, as a Packers fan, I want to see another decade and a half of throws like this from the wildcard round. This was some of the most fun I had watching the Packers in years, and there's no reason to believe he can't keep it up. So if the question is if Jordan Love deserves an extension for the Packers despite just 1 year at the helm, I think it's a no-brainer you take that risk given what you've seen. Throw him the bag, and let's see him bring a Lombardi back to Green Bay. I know they were 3 wins away from the Super Bowl this season, but it didn't seem too far off. I'd expect the Pack to be back in contention for a long time if Love is under center. For more on that, check out this past episode of Point of View. And the moment you've been waiting for, here's the answer to today's trivia question. We appreciate you tuning in this episode of Point of View, and we will see you in the next one.